It is easy to believe that people present themselves as they truly are. A confident smile, a strong handshake, a boastful tone, these all seem to signal strength, but true strength is rarely what it appears to be. What we see on the surface is often a mask concealing the struggles and weaknesses that define a person's true nature. In the teachings of Zen and Buddhist philosophy, there is a saying, the river seems calm, but beneath the surface, the current is strong. This means that what we perceive is never the full reality. People often carry hidden weaknesses, vulnerabilities that they themselves might not even be aware of. Knowing these weaknesses does not mean using them against others, but rather understanding them to navigate relationships, avoid unnecessary suffering, and cultivate wisdom. In this story, we'll explore with these 10 hidden weaknesses through the journey of a man who once believed he understood people, only to realize how little he actually knew. The story of the traveler and the hidden weaknesses. Once there was a traveler who had spent many years observing people. He prided himself on his ability to read others, to understand their thoughts and desires. However, his confidence in this share was scattered when he met an old monk deep in the mountains. You believe you see the truth in people, the monk said, but what you see is only their outer shell. If you wish to truly understand others, you must first see the weaknesses they hide, even from themselves. Curious and eager, the travelers sat beside the monk who began to reveal the 10 hidden weaknesses of people. 1. The fear of being forgotten. Even the strongest person wants to be remembered. The monk began, look at the faces of those who smile in crowds but sit in silence when alone. Their greatest fear is to be forgotten, to leave no mark on this world. People seek attention, recognition, and significance in subtle ways. They tell stories about themselves, they crave validation, and they hold on to relationships even when they are harmful, simply because they do not want to disappear from others' minds. The traveler thought about the people he had met. He had seen wealthy men build statues of themselves, leaders demand praise, and even the kindest souls repeat their good deeds, hoping someone would acknowledge them. How does one deal with this weakness? The traveler asked, do not chase after those who ignore you, and do not hold on to those who only remember you when they need you. Instead, find peace in knowing that your worth does not depend on being remembered. 2. The desire for control. One who clings to control is like a man trying to hold the wind in his hands. The monk continued, people seek control in all things, relationships, success, even fate itself. They fear uncertainty and resist the flow of life, believing they can shape everything to their will. But life is not meant to be controlled, only understood. The traveler recalled those who had tried to dominate others, who had planned their lives in precise detail, only to despair when fate changed course. So what is the answer? He asked. Let go, the monk said simply. Control is an illusion. The moment you accept this, you will be free from suffering. 3. The weakness of seeking approval. When you seek the approval of others, you hand them the key to your happiness. People want to be liked, the monk said. They shape their words and actions to gain the favor of others, afraid of rejection. But in doing so, they lose themselves. They become like reflections in water, shifting, never truly real. The traveler thought of the many who had lived their lives according to the expectations of others, sacrificing their dreams in the process. What is the way out, he asked. Live not to please others, but to be true to yourself. The world's approval is fleeting, but self-respect lasts forever. 4. The weakness of regret. To hold on to regret is to drink poison and expect time to heal you. Many people live in the past. The monk continued. They cling to mistakes, replaying their failures in their minds. They wish they had spoken differently, chosen another path. 5. Loneliness is not the absence of people, but the absence of peace within. The monk looked at the traveler and said, why do people chase relationships that bring them pain? Why do they surround themselves with noise, afraid of silence? It is because they fear facing themselves. They believe that being alone means being unloved. But solitude is not a curse, it is a gift. The traveler had seen this weakness in many. People who stayed in toxic relationships, who distracted themselves with endless activity just to avoid silence. Then how does one overcome this fear? He asked. Find comfort in your own presence. When you can sit in stillness without seeking escape, you have conquered loneliness. 6. The desire for revenge. Revenge is a fire, one that consumes both the enemy and the avenger. Many believe that justice is found in revenge, the monk said. But vengeance does not heal wounds, it deepens them. 7. Jealous heart is never at peace. People compare themselves endlessly, the monk said. They see what others have and feel lacking. But jealousy is an illusion. It does not take from others, but it steals your own joy. The traveler recalled the misery he had seen in those who measure their worth by another's success. Then how should one view others' success, he asked, with joy. What another has does not diminish you. Celebrate, and you will be free of jealousy's chains. 8. The weakness of over-attachment. To hold too tightly is to break what you love. People cling, the monk said, to people, to things, to identities. But everything changes. To attach too deeply is to invite suffering. 9. A dislinest is a house built on sand. People lie to others, to themselves. They fear truth because it reveals their flaws. But lies only delay suffering, they never prevent it. The traveler nodded. He had seen many destroyed by their own deceit. Then what should one do? Live truthfully, even when it is difficult. A life of truth is a life of peace. 10. The weakness of ignorance. A closed mind is a locked door, one that leads nowhere. People resist learning, the monk said. They hold on to their beliefs, fearing change. But wisdom is found in an open mind. The traveler knew this to be true. Those who refuse to learn remain trapped in their own suffering. How does one open their mind? By questioning, by listening, by seeking truth beyond comfort, understanding and overcoming hidden weaknesses. The traveler's journey did not end with the monk's teachings. Instead, it was the beginning of a deeper realization, one that transformed the way he saw himself and the world. As he walked away from the mountains, he carried not only wisdom, but also a profound sense of self-awareness. Each of the 10 hidden weaknesses he had learned about was not just present in others, but within himself. It was easy to see these flaws in the people around him, but the true challenge was recognizing them in his own heart. 1. The fear of being forgotten. At first, the traveler thought this weakness belonged only to those who sought fame or recognition. But as he reflected, he realized that even he had craved validation. He had longed to be remembered by those he met, to leave an impression. But what did being remembered truly mean? He realized that no matter how much he tried, people's memories would fade. The only thing that mattered was living a life of meaning, even if no one witnessed it. To seek to be remembered is to fear impermanence. But everything is impermanent except this, and you will be free. The traveler had always planned life carefully. He had believed that by controlling circumstances, he could avoid suffering. But no matter how carefully he had planned, life had always found a way to disrupt his expectations. Now, he saw the foolishness of resisting life's natural flow. Control was an illusion, and true peace came not from forcing the world to bend to his will, but from learning to move with it. Do not fight the river, learn to swim with it. 3. The weakness of seeking approval. The traveler had once shaped his words and actions to fit the expectations of others. He had been afraid to disappoint, afraid to stand alone, but now he understood that seeking approval was a trap, one that chained people to a false identity. True freedom was found in living authentically without needing others' validation. A flower does not seek approval, it simply blooms. 4. The weakness of regret. He had often looked back on his life, wondering what he could have done differently. 5. The fear of being alone. The traveler had always surrounded himself with people, believing that loneliness was something to be avoided. But the monk's words echoed in his mind. Loneliness is not the absence of people, but the absence of peace within. For the first time, he sat in solitude without feeling empty. He realized that true companionship began with himself. When he was at peace within, he no longer needed to seek external validation. A man at peace with himself is never truly alone. 6. The desire for revenge. He had once been wronged and had dreamed of justice through revenge. 7. THE WAKNSS of JO Yosu 8. THE WKNSS OVIA ATH 29. THE WKNSS OF Lalies. He had once told small lies to protect himself, to shape how others saw him. But he realized that at every lie was a chain, keeping him bound to falsehood. He chose truth even when it was uncomfortable. A life built on truth may be difficult, but it will never crumble. 10. The weakness of ignorance. The traveler had thought he understood the world, but the monk's teachings showed him that wisdom was not in believing one had all the answers, but in knowing that learning never ends. An open mind is the doorway to endless wisdom, transforming weakness into strength. The traveler was no longer the same man who had climbed the mountain. He had seen that every hidden weakness was not just a flaw in others, it was a lesson for himself. He realized that understanding people was not about judging them, but about cultivating compassion. When he saw their weaknesses, he no longer felt anger or frustration, only empathy. He had been blind before. Expecting perfection in a world that was beautifully imperfect, the true strength was not in hiding weaknesses, but in understanding them. By recognizing his own fears, attachments, and illusions, he had taken the first step toward inner peace, and so, with a lighter heart and a clearer mind, he continued his journey, not seeking to change others, but to master himself. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe for my channel for more content like this. Just click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Also, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you'd like to see next. See you in the next video.